Bills piling up, debts accumulating, and that nagging feeling that money is never enough. Does that sound familiar? What if I told you the solution isn't just in your hard work, but in spiritual principles you can activate right now? God doesn't want you to live in scarcity. There are 7 biblical laws that reveal how to activate a divine flow of financial blessings, and when you understand and apply these laws, something begins to shift within and around you. The impossible starts to move in your favor. And the most astonishing part is that these transformations can begin in as little as 24 hours. But before we continue, imagine what it would mean to live without fear of bills, without that gnawing anxiety of not knowing if your money will last until the end of the month. Imagine waking up with peace, knowing there's an invisible, yet real force silently working to open doors, multiply opportunities, and make everything cooperate for your highest good. This is the promise embedded within the laws of divine multiplication. And no, this isn't just about money. It's about accessing the state of spiritual abundance that Jesus, the prophets, and even modern masters like Emmet revealed in different ways, yet with the same foundational truth. You manifest what you deeply believe to be possible. And that's precisely why this video is unlike anything you've ever heard. Because here, we won't be talking about magical formulas, but about spiritual laws that work for anyone who understands and practices them with faith and insight. And most importantly, the last of these 7 laws is the most powerful of all, the one that completes the cycle and transforms your faith into a creative force capable of materializing real results. Before we proceed, I need to tell you something that can completely change the way you view money. Prosperity is a state of consciousness, not just a balance in your bank account. Scarcity isn't born externally, it originates within. And when you align your mind with the spiritual principles of abundance, you become an open channel for God's flow. It's as if heaven finds a way to manifest on earth, through you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to possess divine luck, as if everything they touch prospers? The answer isn't in coincidences, but in spiritual connection. These individuals, consciously or unconsciously, are attuned to the biblical laws of multiplication, the same laws that multiplied the widow's oil, fed multitudes with a few loaves and fish, and made the desert flourish. And the good news is that these laws have never stopped working. The same God who multiplied bread and fish is the same God who today desires to multiply your income, your ideas, and your opportunities. But there's a profound secret few truly grasp. God can only multiply what you surrender with faith. And this means that before abundance comes from without, it must be activated within you. It's about a deep realignment with the divine principle of creation. As Emmet wisely said, "What you think in God is what you think about everything." In other words, if you perceive God as infinite abundance, you begin to realize that scarcity is merely an illusion sustained by fear and outdated beliefs. In this video, you will understand how to apply these 7 laws in a practical, real, and spiritual way. You will discover that multiplication isn't an isolated miracle, but a natural process of the mind and spirit when aligned with divine purpose. And as each law is revealed, you will feel something awaken within you, a calling, an ancient remembrance that you were created to prosper, not merely to survive. And if you've made it this far, it's not by chance. There's a spiritual reason behind everything. Perhaps this is the moment God is calling you to redefine your relationship with money and with the power of faith. Because money, in truth, is energy, and this energy responds to your internal vibration. When you vibrate fear, you attract scarcity. When you vibrate gratitude, faith, and confidence, the universe responds by opening unexpected pathways. So, if you feel in your heart that you are ready to experience something new, to break free from the cycle of limitation and step into the flow of divine multiplication, pay close attention to every word in this video. The answers you've been seeking might be exactly here. And if, throughout this journey, you wish to deepen your connection with these principles even further and understand how to practically manifest what the Bible calls divine provision, click the link in the first pinned comment. There, you will find something special that will help you transform faith into results, mind into manifestation. Now take a deep breath and open your heart. The upcoming revelations will show you that prosperity is not a gift for the few. but a spiritual right for all children of God. Yet few dare to claim this right. Few understand that our daily bread is not a plea. It's a declaration of faith in the abundance that already exists. Prepare yourself, because each of the 7 laws you are about to discover here has the power to completely change the way you perceive money, faith, and God Himself. And remember, the last one is the most powerful, the one that seals all others and makes the invisible become reality. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This helps this message reach more people who, just like you, are seeking true transformation. Now then, let's dive together into the 7 biblical laws of financial multiplication and understand how you can activate, even today, the divine provision that is already prepared for you. The first thing you need to understand is that God never planned scarcity as part of your story. Lack, debt, financial despair, all of these are distortions created by a mind disconnected from the source. The Bible, when read with an awakened heart, reveals spiritual codes that go far beyond mere words. And the laws of financial multiplication are among these codes. They are not rigid commandments, but energetic keys that, when applied with faith and understanding, release a flow of provision that transforms lives. Jesus demonstrated these laws in action. He never multiplied bread from nothing. He took what was available and elevated its vibration through gratitude. And therein lies the secret. What you possess today, however small it may seem, can become the starting point of your multiplication, if you know how to bless and direct that energy correctly. Imagine for a moment that your financial life is like a field. The seeds are already there. Your talent, your ideas, your strength, your time. But if the soil is hardened by doubt, fear, and the belief in scarcity, none of these seeds will germinate. The biblical laws of multiplication are like divine cultivation instructions that soften the earth of your mind and cause what seemed dead to sprout with vigor. The first law is the law of active gratitude. It states that nothing can be multiplied while it is complained about. It is impossible to attract prosperity if you are constantly vibrating in complaint, comparison, or the fear of losing what you have. When Jesus lifted His eyes and gave thanks for the few loaves and fish, He didn't see scarcity, He saw abundance. And it was this vision, sustained by faith, that activated the miracle. What He did there was simple yet profound. He transmuted the vibration of scarcity into the vibration of overflow. And perhaps this is the turning point you need today. Because as long as you perceive lack, the universe can only give you more of what you see. But when you genuinely decide to be thankful for what you have, even if it still seems little, you shift your frequency. And abundance can only manifest in a mind that vibrates abundance. The second law is the law of purposeful surrender. It stems from the ancient wisdom that everything placed in God's hands is multiplied. But understand, surrender is not giving up. Surrender is releasing control and trusting that there is a divine intelligence that knows how to multiply better than you know how to retain. Many people pray for prosperity, but they cling to fear so tightly that they prevent the flow. The fear of lack is the greatest block to abundance. It's as if the universe is saying, "How can I give you more if you don't trust that I can sustain you?" When you surrender, whether through generosity, giving, tithing, an act of faith, or even a decision to let go of what holds you back, you are spiritually declaring, "Lord, I trust that you are the source." And from that moment, the miracle begins to move. The third law is the law of expectant faith. Faith, when it is real, doesn't just believe, it expects. It creates space for the new, like preparing a room before a guest arrives. Expectant faith is the state of consciousness that acts as if the miracle has already happened. Emmet said, "Everything you desire already exists, just in an invisible form." Faith is the instrument that converts the invisible into reality. And the Bible confirms, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Hebrews 11:1. Therefore, when you plant a thought of prosperity and water it with faith, it's not a question of if it will happen, it's a question of when. And when you maintain this certainty, even in the face of circumstances, energy begins to condense, and pathways open in an almost inexplicable way. The fourth law is the law of the creative word. Everything begins in the vibration of the word. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So it is with you. Every time you say, "I have no money," everything goes wrong, life is hard, you are issuing spiritual decrees that shape your reality. Words are spiritual seeds, and your mind is the soil. Financial manifestation begins with what you declare every day. And when you start using your words to bless instead of curse, the energy around you begins to reorganize. Declare, "I am a channel of divine abundance." Repeat this until you feel the vibration shift within you. Because when you speak the "I am," you activate the creative power of God that dwells within you. The fifth law is the law of inspired action. Faith without action is dead. Jesus multiplied the bread, but before that, he commanded the people to organize themselves to sit in groups, to prepare the ground for the miracle. He didn't just pray, he acted in alignment with faith. This means it's not enough to believe in divine provision. You must act as one who already possesses it. Take actions that demonstrate trust. If you believe God will open a door, prepare to walk through it. Sometimes the miracle doesn't arrive because the person is still vibrating in fear without taking a stand. Action is the bridge between faith and result. The sixth law is the law of multiplication through love. Everything done with love expands. Love is the highest frequency energy in the universe. When you work, give, create, serve, or even pray with genuine love, you are vibrating in the essence of God. Love is the true multiplier. It transforms effort into results, time into harvest, a gesture into a blessing. Therefore, if what you do today is merely guided by need, fear, or obligation, stop and realign your heart. Do it with love and see the difference. But it is the seventh law, the most powerful of all, that seals this entire process, the law of consciousness of the source. This is where everything changes. This law teaches that God is the sole source of everything that exists, and when you anchor yourself in this truth, nothing can ever be lacking. It's not your job, it's not a client, it's not the economy, it is God. The consciousness of the source lifts you out of fear and places you into a state of spiritual security, where you understand that the channel may change, but the source is eternal. It's like the river and the spring. The river may change its course, but the spring never runs dry. When you awaken to this, the doors of provision open supernaturally. You no longer depend on how. You simply trust that the flow will come, and it does. Because everything that is in harmony with God must prosper. And perhaps you're asking yourself, but can this really happen in 24 hours? Yes, because the time of manifestation is not clock time. It is the time of consciousness. When the mind awakens, when the vibration shifts, things reorganize rapidly. Many people report that after applying these principles, opportunities appear out of nowhere. Debts are unexpectedly resolved, doors open. It's not magic, it's energetic realignment. It's the moment you finally tune into laws that have always been available, but which you are only now able to perceive. And if at this moment you feel your heart warming, if there's that sensation within you of, "This is for me," it's because it is. God didn't bring you here by chance. This message reached you because the time for multiplication has arrived. Perhaps the change you've been waiting for isn't in a new job, but in a new vibration. Not in a new salary, but in a new consciousness. Abundance is not a destination, it is a state. And when you enter it, everything begins to multiply naturally. Money, ideas, relationships, peace. And to help you dive even deeper into this practice and understand how to apply these laws in your daily life, access the link in the first pinned comment. There you will find something special that will further expand your understanding of manifestation and spiritual prosperity. Something that will show you how to transform prayer into creation and faith into real results. Because the truth is that divine provision already exists. You don't need to create it, you just need to align with it. And when you understand that the universe is generous and that the mind is the channel through which divine energy manifests, you realize that multiplication is not an exception. It is the nature of God operating in you. God wants to prosper you, not so you can live superficially, but so you can be a living testimony of His abundance on earth. When the world sees you prosper justly, with integrity and light, it will understand that the God of the Bible is still the same, the one who multiplies, sustains, and never lets there be lack. And your role is simply this: to believe, to feel, and to act with faith. The rest, the invisible, God will make flourish. Perhaps, as you heard each of these laws, something within you began to stir, a feeling that the pieces were finally starting to fit together. Because deep down, you always knew that life couldn't just be about working, paying bills, and trying to survive. There is something greater happening behind everything, and that something is spiritual. Scarcity was never God's plan. It is merely the reflection of a mind that forgot who it is and the power it carries within. The true transformation happens when you understand that prosperity isn't about having more, but about being more conscious, more grateful, more confident, more aligned with the divine. And when this consciousness awakens, the flow begins to move naturally, effortlessly, without despair, without the feeling of constant struggle. Because what was once struggle now becomes surrender. What was once fear transforms into faith. What was once doubt turns into certainty that God is working behind the scenes of your life, preparing encounters, opportunities, and pathways you cannot yet see. You begin to realize that money, in the end, was never the problem. It is merely the mirror. When the mirror shows lack, it's because within you there are limiting beliefs about what you deserve, about what's possible, about what God can do. And when you change the internal reflection, the mirror changes. It's that simple, yet profoundly powerful. Because everything that is manifested externally begins with an internal vibration. The 7 biblical laws of financial multiplication are not just beautiful concepts. They are portals of consciousness expansion. Each one awakens a spiritual remembrance that you are a co-creator with God, that you were made in His image and likeness. And this means the same power that created the universe dwells within you. When you understand this, there is no longer room for the fear of lack. You begin to walk with silent confidence because you know you are not alone, that the source is inexhaustible, and that heaven always has an answer. And the most beautiful part is that divine multiplication doesn't only happen in finances. When you vibrate in abundance, everything flourishes: health, relationships, emotions, inner peace. It's as if a new cycle begins, a cycle where effort is replaced by inspiration, anxiety by serenity, and despair by trust. You finally enter the flow of the Creator, where everything begins to align with synchronicity. Remember, God doesn't bless fear, He blesses faith. And faith is the greatest investment anyone can make. It multiplies everything it touches because it opens the space for the supernatural to act. That's why when you put these laws into practice, changes can happen quickly, sometimes in hours, sometimes in days, but always in perfect timing. The important thing is to keep your heart open, your thoughts elevated, and your words aligned with divine truth. So if today something within you desires to break free from the cycle of limitation, this is your opportunity. Start now. Give thanks for what you have, trust the source, declare with faith, and act with love. Do what is within your power, and allow God to do the impossible. He wants to show you that abundance is not a distant miracle, but a reality that begins the moment you truly decide to believe. And if this message spoke to your soul, if something within you awakened, don't let it die here. Access the link in the first pinned comment and discover the next step on this journey. Special content that will help you further deepen this connection with the power of divine manifestation and guide you in the process of transforming faith into results, thought into provision, and prayer into reality. You are called to live the extraordinary. Abundance is your natural state. Don't fight against it. Allow it to manifest. The entire universe conspires when a child of God decides to remember who they are. And before we conclude, if this message touched you in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This helps this word reach more people who, just like you, are ready to live a new season. A season where fear gives way to faith, and where faith transforms into multiplication. Because when you align with God, the impossible becomes inevitable.